Alright guys, Hutchcrown back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And following Dashi's thoughts on Ghosty and how he successfully turned the Optic team around last season, he's also given his perspective on his new teammates. Not just Shotzzy, who he's played with for some time now, but also Kenny, how underrated he is and what he's going to bring to the team in the new season. But Kenny also might have his work cut out for the team on this new roster, with Pred actually revealing, or Kenny revealing to Pred, that he wasn't necessarily so punctual when they were practicing it between those two respective teams of Thieves and Surge during the most recent season. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Good to see Kenny as well is, I wouldn't say milking the Optic juice, but I feel like if the players that have been on Optic over the last several years, you even look back at during the Huntsman days, and even more recently than that, the likes of, let's say, Arcetes and Pristini and Illy and, I'm not necessarily saying general, but there's been quite even maybe Hook, but I know he doesn't really do much content. There's been plenty of players that have been on Optic over the last few years that I don't think have taken advantage of the opportunity they're presented with in some respects. Like, Kenny is making good content. Of course, Pred knows what he's doing here and he's absolutely killing it and will absolutely kill it over the coming seasons. But Kenny also knows that, there's a great opportunity there to take advantage of when you're on Optic. And if you're not making content when you're on Optic and building that brand up, I feel like you're doing yourself in the long term a massive disservice. And I feel like we've kind of seen that with players that have been on Optic over the last couple of years, have had that opportunity, because it's not guaranteed you're going to be on that roster forever. So you want to ensure that when you do depart, you leave yourself in the best possible position. And yes, when you do leave, or if you do leave, whatever, because some of these guys might stay as part of the Optic family kind of forever. But those that do get moved on, yes, there'll be some of the Greenwall won't watch them anymore, but it's definitely worth taking advantage of the opportunity while it presents itself. And Kenny's doing exactly that, which is great to see. Now, speaking of that Black Ops 3 tournament that was played, this was crazy, to be honest. Maybe not a massive surprise, and there's some other games on here that have also been around sometimes, such as GTA 5, which is just still going, but and Minecraft topping the list, I guess. But in terms of top 10 best-selling games, at least in the US and Canada for the month of August, Black Ops 3 made like the top 10, or pretty much top 8, which is crazy, right? Especially because, I already had the game, and I played it and bought it or whatever on PlayStation 4 years ago, but I had to then buy it again, and Activision managed to rinse me again on Steam on PC to play it as I do nowadays, because I don't even really have a PlayStation anymore. So, yeah, crazy stuff. But Black Ops 3 stays absolutely killing it, and for good reason as far as I'm concerned. This I thought was hilarious as well here from Nameless, and it just shows that it's getting to that point in COD history. I've never seen anything like this before, to be honest. I'm officially old as dust. So he quote tweets that this guy Camlock says, "Yo, I just found out you were my dad's favorite pro COD player." Like, how wild is that? I wonder how old this guy is. I know that there's some, people who watch competitive COD that have been around a long time. But yeah, to me, your dad's favorite COD pro, Nameless being that guy, is like, damn, I've been around a long time if that's the case. And also this guy Straw Hat Joey was he put together, I think 10 years ago today, some images from back in 2013 during the Black Ops 2 season. There's some people here that I don't even really recognize. This actually might be Karma on the left hand side here. This might be Sloss. Miracles, of course. Ricky is always very recognizable, and it actually says Dido on his shirt here. So just some legendary pictures and names. Even here you got Methods, Goonjar, Sharp, from the TK days, of course. And then this one, the quality on these images is hilarious. But, we got Bose, we got Ricky, this is Hilton, right? And then, Haggy and then Nameless closing out the picture. So just legendary stuff to look back on. But obviously we've got nowadays the modern day crop of players, and that will continue over time. TJ and Predator getting ready to go for some 2K. But yesterday we saw Dashi giving a lot of credit to Ghosty, despite some of the issues they had at the end of last season, to what he did for the success of that Optic roster during the course of last season. But now Ghosty's no longer there, Kenny's going to be there instead, and Dashi, understandably, also gives a lot of credit to his new teammates. Says that Kenny is going to be a real driving force for their team going forward. And I thought it was especially interesting, really, what he had to say on the Thieves team of last year and how obviously Kenny has helped form that culture to a certain extent, and Kenny's been very clear that what they had in that Thieves culture, being friends in and out of the game, being super tight-knit as a unit, he wants to bring that over to the new Optic team, and that's his intention to do exactly that. Dashi also discusses Shotzzy and how when he's playing well, he just can't be stopped, basically massive takeover player. But I also wanted to share a clip that did come out a few days ago now, but it was between Kenny and Pred. They were playing some Apex or whatever, and Kenny was discussing moments where last season, neither of those guys were on Optic. Kenny was on Thieves, Pred was on Seattle Surge, where they were having, well, let's just say, practice sometimes got chalked. Now, Pred actually started this conversation by saying, oh, Kenny, like, you guys remember when you didn't turn up or you chalked this scrim or whatever? And Kenny was like, look, that happened for a very good reason, because you were taking too long to join the call and accuracy was telling us to wait. So Pred was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about type thing. So it does seem to be a little bit that if things, you know, depending on how things go, Kenny could have his work cut out for him a little bit this upcoming season.
Ken underrated? I think Ken is insanely underrated, bro. I think that, like, bro, after just... I don't know about y'all, bro. I thought, like, dude, I was talking to Paul. It was actually funny. But I thought Thieves were f***ing... Even him, he was like, bro, the Thieves were f***ing, like, thank God they broke up type. But they were just insane, bro. There's just something about the way those four, like, clicked with each other and their individual, like little, like, sprees or takeovers. Like, we would, like, go back and forth with them, I feel like they got the better of us, like, towards the end of both years, but it's not like they were unbeatable. It's just, like... They were just a team that, like, you could just tell that they've been through it all, bro. Because they were at the absolute bottom. They went 0-5 in a league match, I think, or 0-5 in a stage in Vanguard, and then it just felt like they've, like, they grew up with each other almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, they leveled up with each other. I'm so hyped to play with Ken and AG, bro.
The only thing
because at least from like
that side was pretty, to be honest.
Well, like, I know, like, those two, like, they just care about winning, bro. I feel like that's Ant's best trait. Is just like he's really good at, like, just making, like, annoying for the other team. Like, he's a hard death. Like, he's making people just, like, invest, like, hella util, just hella, like, just bodies, bro. Taking really bad gunfights. Ant probably has the best takeover in the league. Like, if he gets going, he just wins a map on his own, bro. Because he has the biggest influence, you know what I mean? Like, he's in the spots where, for one, they spawn. And he's dictating, like, pretty much, like, if you have to get out of your base or out of a blend, like, you have to go through Ant. And then the more he's, like, let's say if he's in takeover, he's just making it so, like, legit. At least I can remember this. This is a good example. Is like when we played Thieves on Berlin. You guys remember when he went 17-1? He was montaging. He had Deddy pop. Like, he was just switching, going from top 3, like, fire. Like, he was just... It was actually a masterclass, bro. I remember I legit... I think I got in, like, 4 gunfights in the first 3 hills on Vanguard, which is actually insane to think about.
Remember when I came late to scrims? Alright, remember when I came late to scrims boiling them shit?
No.
Huh?
No.
No, remember when we were scrimming you guys? And you guys chalked it? Oh, you said, yeah, I know, please say I don't know.
We chalked it.
Yeah, you guys chalked it. You guys are
Did you relate?
Yeah,
because you were always late.
Dude, someone said, like, yo, like, AG's fucking...
That's one thing I guarantee you, every team, bro, we were never late.
Who?
Never. Our team, my team, LAT, we were never late, bro.
No, you guys weren't.
Y'all fools were always late.
No, we weren't.
Lamar, yes, and Lamar's like, AG's taking a shit, bro.
Bro, wait, that's not me being late. What do you want me to do?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, bro. It was every time, bro. AG's taking a shit.
You guys,
like, bro.
You guys want me to play it whilst I need shit and it's gonna be challenged? Legit, like,
No,
I'm drinking high fiber protein.
Oh, that's
like,
fine. That's fine.
And you guys
That's
are like,
fine.
you guys are like,
other teams were just late, like, bro. Oh my.
I was shitting a lot, bro. I'll be honest. There was like a period of time where I used to go bathroom after every like fucking scrim, bro.
So Kenny also mentioned in a recent Q&A that he did that the way he feels going forward on this team is that he's kind of going to be a player and a coach in some respects. Like, he can bring that aspect of the team that he's learned from the likes of Octane, but also I'm sure from JCap and others over the last couple of years, how to think about it in that way. And that might be pretty necessary going forward. So I think Kenny's, no doubt in my mind, going to be a very valuable player here for this team. And usually in games like this is at some point in the season going to be a top player in his own right as well, from a pure talent and ability perspective. But, you know, this clip, especially between Pred and Kenny, I thought was kind of interesting. It's not exactly a new or surprising thing, and this clip's a few days old at this point. For players to turn up a little bit late to scrims, maybe not take it so seriously, and it was kind of a known thing that Seattle Surge, you know, Pred was saying that he just constantly, you know, on the toilet, right, in between scrims for whatever reason, and obviously that was affecting the practice they had against LA Thieves specifically, and Kenny was like, damn, can this guy just get cracking? Like, we've got to get going here. So, you know, I'm sure Kenny has already taken some notes on the potential issues that they might come into, depending on how things go for the new season, but more than likely, it's all going to be okay. I just think that if there's anyone on the team that is going to be the most on it in terms of people being punctual and making sure they're taking things seriously, Kenny's going to be that guy. And I think it's pretty ideal that Kenny's the guy that they bring in actually to help deal with some of these issues potentially. And let's just say the way that Optic have gone over the last couple of seasons, it's been a very consistent trend where they look very good at some point. They usually start off the season very well, although that certainly wasn't the case most recently, but all the drama was going down. And then at the end of the year, when it really comes down to putting in the most time, the final push for the World Championship, that's when historically, and even over just the last season or the last several seasons, Optic have just fallen short. Whereas teams like, with Kenny on, for example, haven't necessarily done that, right? Kenny won the World Championship just a couple of years ago. And you would well think that on most teams, the person kind of required to be putting the most discipline down would be the coach of the team, right? Now, JP is not going to really be the coach anymore, and I don't think he was ever really expected to do that for the team anyway. He was just, he was an analyst, and then he kind of did both in some sense. But now Karma is going to be there as like the head coach, and I'm sure he's going to be giving guidance in terms of play style and different approaches to certain situations. That's why I imagine Karma's so keen to play the game when it comes out, do the kickoff tournaments, so he can learn the game very quickly, as he has always done. But is Karma going to be the guy getting on the team's back about not turning up on time? If they sleep in, if they don't have their discipline on points, is he going to be a guy like, let's say, a Drill would be on New York Subliners, or maybe even a JCap, let's say, on Thieves, where he's helping instill the discipline? Not necessarily, because Karma's been known as a guy who, the reason why Hex had some reservations about bringing Karma in as the coach was like, look, David, are you going to wake up in time? Like, are you going to ensure that you're actually there for scrims and doing the work you need to be doing? Karma's not necessarily going to be the guy, I don't think at least, instilling the discipline on the team. So it's going to require somebody else to do so if that is an issue that they will have to deal with, which looking historically at Optigo for the last few years, it kind of is. And that's when Kenny's kind of play comes into the fore potentially. So we'll see how that goes, but I think Kenny could be a really integral part of this Optic team's success going forward, and Dashi certainly thinks that is the case as well. Now, it's not like they don't have talent to back up some of these other benefits. I mean, Kenny was quite clear that the Thieves team, their KDs were nothing crazy, but they just played very fundamentally sound COD and could win pretty much regardless of the circumstances. But obviously, when you've got a team like Optic, you've also got a ridiculous amount of talent as well to bail you out if things happen to go wrong. Just one crazy Money Hill stat here to close out the video, that it's probably not even that crazy, but just to think about, that there's never been a player in COD that's had a gamer tag that's begun, or at least in CDL history, because I guess there's been some players. I seem to remember a guy called Yoshi, was there not, like way back in the day? So with a Y. But in CDL history, every letter to start a player name has been accounted for, with the exception of Q, X, or Y, which, maybe not a massive surprise, but still, we've had someone with every other start of the letter. And when is the next time we're going to see this? Next time you guys see a challenger player beginning with any of these letters, then keep your eyes on them, because it might be necessary if we want to, reduce the number of letters that we haven't had, or something like that anyway. But very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.